What's up, beautiful people? It's Girl Tia Things, back with another video and another book chat today. And today we are talking about Carley Fortune's Meet Me at the Lake. I have to say, you guys know I love Carley Fortune, okay? If you haven't seen my reel and my review of her book, Every Summer After, 10 on 10. That book blew my mind when I read it. I felt so connected. It was very To All the Boys I Loved Before, with a twist. It was really like up my alley. So I was so excited to read Meet Me at the Lake. This is another book that I bought to get me out of my book slump in like April, May. And this and Happy Place definitely worked when I say I needed to get out of a book slump. So I'm really excited to chat about it. And I wasn't ready. So let me explain a little more about the book itself in my review. So get ready because I am giving spoilers. I'm just going right into the entire story. So essentially, this book follows Fern, whose mom has passed away now in the present time, and she's running her mom's inn or bed and breakfast, or like little resort, really. Like it's bigger than a B&B. And from what I understand, it's in Muskoka, but don't quote me on that. But that kind of like lakeside vibe. And you're not really sure at the beginning, like, does she want to be here or not? Like, you can't really tell if she's happy, not happy, if she's like, get me out of here, or loves it. So it's a little bit half and half, and you're not sure where she's going with it. And then you see her really processing her grief very vocally and like trying to just figure out what she wants and how she's going to handle her grief, etc. So you're really with her through that. And then you start to meet Mr. Will Baxter. So he shows up at the counter, she sees him, she like stops it in her tracks, he says her name, so you know they know each other. You don't know from when, from where, how recent, how not recent, like you don't know the story there. But we quickly learn through some flashbacks that this is a very long-standing situation. So when they were teenagers, later teenagers, like more close to young adulthood, they met and spent essentially a day together, 24 hours together, of epic proportions. They were both seeing other people, so there was no like real, other than like the chemistry and the tension, they didn't do anything beyond that, although they almost did. But it was really that intense of a connection that linked them in that 24 hours. And they had agreed to meet back at the lake about, I think it was a year from when they had first met, and said we'll meet again in a year if we're both single and doing what we're doing, like we can get together kind of thing. Gives us a year to get our lives together. And she obviously showed it's her mom's resort on the lake, and he did not, and she's been crushed about that, but like thinking about him, but obviously he hasn't been her whole world since, because so much time has passed. And then there he is one day, randomly, they're adults, it's maybe like a decade later, and all of a sudden he's there to help her as like a business associate. And she's like, what are you talking about? He tells her that her mom before passing had set this up, so now she's stuck with him and spending time working with him, and she does need his help at the resort. She is like kind of struggling to modernize and bring it back to its glory days and sales and everything like that. So he definitely is there to help her, and through working together, through getting to know each other again, essentially they kind of go back into this like chemistry that they always had. One question that I find didn't get answered for so long, which I know was intentional, but I wasn't my personal favorite, was why didn't he show up that day? He clearly loved her after their 24 hours together. Like he was way more obvious, let's say, about his feelings. So I really didn't get why he didn't go see her. It was obvious that he should and would have and wanted to. So I was a little bit annoyed that I had to wait basically till the end of the book to figure that out. And they make references to kids, references to his niece, references to all these things, and you end up finding out that that's why when he went home, he found out his sister was pregnant, and he quit everything, like all his dreams, to get this basic job. Well, not basic, but he grew a great career, but like it wasn't what he wanted, it wasn't his dream, it wasn't to be an artist. And he did this to support his sister and niece, and they've basically like become like a family unit, and he's the father figure for his niece, and just kind of that whole backstory. I thought it didn't need to be like dragged out as long as it was. Like, it's a believable, real story. It's authentic. Like, why do we need to push it like as if it's some big shoe that's gonna drop when it's not? It's just like, okay. So I thought that was a little bit like dragged out, and to be honest with you, this is a little bit of a slow read for me especially compared to Every Summer After, because that's what obviously I have in my personal favorites from this author. So I picked up this book thinking it was going to be following in those footsteps of that like high speed, like so much is happening, oh my gosh. And this is a much slower, laid back, it literally is like a resort read. Like, if you were reading this on the beach, you'd be just like browsing through it, having a good time. It's really like a vacation read kind of style. So I liked it for that, but it wasn't as fast as I expected. I expected it to be a little bit more upbeat and fast paced because of her other book, Every Summer After. So yeah, as I was saying, it's a little slower. The story's dragged out a little bit long for my liking, but definitely it's a nice, relaxing read. So I don't like not recommend it just because it's slower. And I know some people really enjoy that. I personally am someone who just like wants a fast read. I want to be like trapped in the story and not be able to stop. And this was more of like, get to know them, get to know the whole story, why they didn't meet up, what happened to her mom as well as a big factor, and then where they're going from here, because once again, this little fantasy world that they're living in basically on this resort, is it permanent or is it not? Is she staying? Is he staying? What are the steps they need to take in life to like actually be together? Seems like a far away notion. So they do, obviously, I'm gonna just spoil it, they do end up together, and it is like a really nice bow kind of ending. I liked it. For the ending, I liked it a lot for the reality of the book, to be honest with you. It's like one of those books where it's like not everything goes well and not everything is easy, and things go to shit sometimes, and you gotta like work your way back and figure out a real plan, because life doesn't just work out miraculously like a lot of books tend to do. So like that was really nice and different, and for that reason I really liked it. This book and Happy Place, what really got me out of my slump is I feel like they were real, like they were realistic romance stories of couples going through some difficult times, some like icks, and having to work through them, and I think that's what I liked. So it's definitely cool for that. I really appreciated that and the reality of it. It's definitely not like a La La Land smut read where they just randomly fall for each other after like 5 seconds of knowing each other. There's a slow build, there's a lot of chemistry, and you have to like wait for that final will they or won't they question, but it's worth it. Definitely recommend, like I said, a great summer read, a great author. If you haven't read Every Summer After, I highly recommend reading her other book, Every Summer After, as well. That is a huge summer read. This is like a perfect by the pool, by the water kind of read. So definitely recommend Carley Fortune for your next read. Add it to your TBR and let me know what you guys think. Comment below the next book that you guys want me to review, and I will certainly let you know what I think. Talk soon.